So, today let us discuss the concept on profit and loss. So, to begin with the basics, say for example, if you purchase a soap from any shop, the cost price of the soap, that is, I purchased a soap for rupees 200 and I sold the soap for rupees 180. So here, which is the cost price and which is the selling price? So the amount which we use to purchase any thing, that is their cost price, and if you sold to some others, then that will be the selling price. Here I bought a soap for rupees 200 and I sold it for rupees 180. So here the cost price is rupees 200 and the selling price is rupees 180. So from this we can easily infer that this definitely incurs a loss. This transaction definitely incurs a loss. So how much is the loss? What will we do? Again we subtract loss, cost price minus selling price. So because since it is a loss, so cost price is 200, selling price is 180. If we subtract 180 from 200, we'll get a loss of 20 rupees. If it is the case, if it is a profit, say for example, if I purchased an article, anything for rupees 200 and I have sold it for rupees 220 or 250 rupees, obviously there will be a profit for me. So profit again, in the profit case, always the selling price will be greater. So I used to subtract the cost price from the selling price. Whereas if it is a loss, if it incurs a loss in a particular transaction, in such a case always the cost price will be greater than the selling price. So whichever is greater, we have to use it first. So the rest of the thing, that is the next thing, should be subtracted from the greater one. So if it is a loss, definitely the cost price is greater. So cost price can, in short, we can refer it as CP. So CP minus SP, since cost price is greater. In the other case, if the particular transaction relies on a profit, then again in such a case our selling price will be greater. So profit, the formula for calculating the profit is selling price minus cost price. It is nothing more than a formula and all that. We don't want to remember. Just if we know the basic logic, we can easily calculate the profit and the loss. Just by looking at it, we can say straight away. And how to calculate the percent? If they ask you to calculate a profit percent or a loss percent, see a percentage, always percentage is symbolized, isn't it? Using the symbol percentage, and it is nothing but divide by 100 percent. Whatever the value is given, if you want to calculate the percent, we have to multiply it by 100. From percent to some other thing, we have to divide it by 100. Here, since in this particular transaction it incurs a loss, so we need to calculate a loss percentage. So loss percentage is equal to, what is the loss amount of loss? It is 20. What is our input? Our investment is 200 rupees. So for 200 rupees, it incurs 20% loss for me, isn't it? So that's what 220 by 200. Since I have to calculate a percentage, I multiplied this by 100. So 20 by 200 into 100. See, if you look at this, it is 20 by 200. 200 is the cost price. See, whatever the case, either you have to calculate either you have to calculate a profit percent or you have to calculate a loss percent. Both profit and the loss is calculated only based on the cost price. So if you want to calculate the loss percent or the profit percent, your base, the denominator value, will always be your cost price. You could not calculate profit percent or loss percent based on the selling price, because selling price varies whereas cost price does not vary. So based on the cost price, we have to calculate these two percentage. That is why I have divided 20 by 200, which is the cost price over here, and to calculate percentage I have multiplied the value by 100. So just by multiplying it, you will get the answer as 10%. So in this transaction, so if I purchase any article for rupees 200 and if I sell it for rupees 180, then in this particular transaction it incurs me a 10% loss. Definitely they'll ask, what is your loss percentage? We can easily say that it is 10% loss. So first you have to calculate the loss, and the loss divided by cost price into 100. That is your loss percentage. Yes. And in many cases, for calculating once in a particular problem, either the cost price is given or the selling price will be given, and you'll be asked to calculate the other one, the rest part. We'll be obviously what we'll do, we'll be substituting some formula and we'll provide the answer. But that is not the case. Here we are not going to use any formula at all. So please remember this hint. Actually I can say it as a hint. So if you remember this hint, from this we can solve it. Just a basic sense. Use our sense to solve this particular problem. So we don't want to remember any formula for it. Yes. What is a hint over here is, see, in a particular problem, say if the cost price is not given, right? So assume the cost price as X. If it is not given, I can assume it as X. And they'll give a clue like the selling price is same as that of the cost price. Okay. So in such a case, I can assume my cost price as 100 if my selling price is same as that of the cost price. Selling price is same as that of the cost price, then the assumption over here is selling price is equal to 100%. Selling price is equal to 100% because I assume my cost price is 100. Both are same. My cost price is equal to 100%. At the same time, my selling price will also be equal to 100%. If it is the same as cost price, they'll not give in such a way. There is an indirect way of delivering a problem, isn't it? So in a particular problem, they can also mention that they'll not mention your selling price. Simply what they'll say is it is selling price is nothing but there is a 10% profit because I sold an article for so and so price, so that it incurs me a 10% profit or a 10% loss, whatever it may be the case. So the selling price is not given over there. Instead, they have given that if I have purchased this article for some rupees and I have sold it with 10% profit. Okay. So if this is the case, you will be wondering, so how to calculate this? What formula we have to apply? Nothing. Always assume your cost price as 100. Yes. If the selling price and cost price are the same, selling price will also be equal to 100. That's what we have looked in the first case. In the second case, the clue is there in your problem that it is given it incurs a 10% profit. So my cost price is 100, and if it incurs 10% profit, definitely add this 10 with 100. So my selling price will always be equal to 110% of my cost price. Right? Since my cost price is 100%, 100 here, I have incurred how much profit? 10. So since it is a profit, I have to add. If it is a loss, you have to subtract. So since it incurs 10% profit, add 10 with that of 100. So 100 plus 10, which is 110%. So my selling price is equal to 110% of my cost price if the particular transaction incurs a 10% profit. That is the second case. In the third case, say for example, again here also the cost price or the selling price is not at all given. Instead, they have mentioned that this particular transaction has incurred 10% loss. 10% loss, right? So here I have to assume my cost price as 100 and cost price as 100 and the selling price is equal, since it is loss, I have to subtract. How much percent is loss? 10%. So I have to subtract 10 from 100. So 100 minus 10, which is 90. So here my selling price is equal to 90% of cost price. This is the basic assumption what we have to keep in our mind while doing such sort of problems. See, if you are very clear with this hints, like in the case 1, case 2 and case 3, I can say this case 1, if the selling price and the cost price are same, this is the first case. If the particular transaction incurs 10% profit, then that is the second case. You have to add 10 with the cost price. If the particular transaction incurs a loss, in such a case you have to subtract 10 from the cost price, and this is my third case. So if we remember these three cases, then definitely it will be easy to solve the rest of the problems, right? See, again another hint I have given you. Here cost price is 100%, selling price is also 100. The first case, what we have seen already, here the cost price and the selling price both are same. So this particular transaction has incurred neither profit nor loss. Yes. In the second case, cost price is 100%, whereas the selling price is 125%, from which it is very obvious that it incurs 25% profit. If the cost price is 100 and selling price is 80%, then what is the assumption? Yes, selling price is equal to 80% of cost price. That is the selling price, isn't it? See, now we move on to the first problem. Here, a person incurs 5% loss by selling a watch for rupees 1140. At what price should the watch be sold to earn 5% profit? Yes, so 5% loss. See, the selling price is given, but the cost price is not given, and in this transaction it incurs 5% loss. So if it is 5% loss, selling price, what is our assumption? Selling price is equal to, initially assume cost price is not given, so assume it as 100, and it is 5% loss. So selling price is equal to, which is 100 minus 5, that is 95% of cost price is equal to selling price. Isn't it? That is the assumption what we should have. You know that this is a loss, that's why I have subtracted this value from 100. So 95% of cost price is equal to my selling price. Cost price, I have to calculate the cost price first of all. See, whichever the problem is given to you, before proceeding to the next step, the basic thing is you need to know selling price as well as the cost price. Without knowing these two basic terms, we cannot proceed with the problem further. So first, while observing the problem, check out that which is given and which needs to be calculated. If the selling price is given, in turn you have to calculate the cost price and vice versa. And then you can go to the next step, like calculating profit percent, loss percent, so and so. So initially our basic requirement is, here in this problem only the selling price is given, so we are in need to calculate the cost price. So there is only one clue, that is what we have seen in the assumption also, that they have given that this transaction incurs a loss. So 95%, it is 5% loss, I subtracted 5 from 100. So 95% of my cost price is always equal to the selling price. So 95 by 100 into cost price is X is equal to my selling price is 1140. So just you bring this value to the right hand side, so it becomes reverse. So 95 by 100 I can simply reduce it. By reducing it I get the value of 19 by 20. I have cancelled it by 5. Yes, yeah, just simplify it and you can easily multiply or divide whatever it is. So just before going for the calculation part, just simplify it and then go for arithmetic operations. So now the value of x, after doing all these simple operations, the value of x is 1200. That is the cost price. The value of cost price is 1200. Now we proceed with the next step in the problem. See, now we know the selling price, which is 1140, and the cost price is 1200, isn't it? Now it is very easy to proceed with the rest of the problem. At what price should the watch be sold to earn 5% profit? So what is 5% loss actually? 5%, what is the amount which is equivalent to your 5% loss? Can you say? Yes, 5% loss is nothing but subtract your selling price, your yes, cost price and the selling price. Our cost price is 1200 and my selling price is 1140. So how much rupees I have lost in this transaction? 60 rupees. So 5% loss is nothing but it is amounts to 60 rupees. So at what percent I have to sell this watch so that I gain 5% profit? That is what the question. So you know the value of 5%. 5% value is 60 rupees. Yes, it is very obvious from this. 5% loss is directly equivalent to 5% loss is equal to 60 rupees. So 5% profit. If you need 5% profit, so you have your cost price is 1200, and at what price you have to sell so that you will get 5% profit? You have to add 60, that's all, because 5% profit is equivalent to how much rupees? 60 rupees. So 1200 plus 60, which is 1260. Clear? Shall we proceed with the next one? Yes. Next, here the problem is, see, A book was sold for rupees 27.50 with a profit of 10%. Okay, selling price is given, profit percentage is given. If it were sold for rupees 25.75, then what would have been the percentage of profit or loss? Okay, I'll come to the next step after solving the cost price and the selling price. Okay, a book was sold for rupees 27.50. So your selling price is 27.50 and the clue is it is 10% profit. Actually, this transaction has incurred a 10% profit. So what is the assumption you have to make? Our cost price is 100, 10% profit. So plus 100 plus 10, 110% of my cost price is equal to my selling price. 110% of my cost price is equal to my selling price. So what is the selling price given? You can substitute over there. Yes, the same thing what we have repeated in the previous problem. Likewise, we need to calculate the value of x. X is nothing but the cost price. Yes, now tell me, have you calculated the value? Yes. So now my cost price is 25 rupees and my selling price is 27.50. So definitely this transaction has given me a profit. Okay, now we know both the cost price and the selling price, which are the two basic foundations for solving these problems, these kind of problems. So I found out it. Now I can proceed with the next step. Now we can go with the next step, that is, if it were sold for rupees 25.75. Yes, suppose if I sell the same book for 25.75 for another selling price, then what would be the percentage of profit or loss? They are not sure that whether we incur profit or loss. Just if you sell this for another price, then tell me that what you incur, either you incur profit or loss in percentage, right? That is very simple, isn't it? Because we know the cost price of the pen. So if you know the cost price, then it is very easy to calculate. And the selling price, what they have given, it is 25.75. So what is the difference? Selling price is greater, so definitely this transaction also gives us a profit, that is 25.75 minus cost price, again it is 25, so it gives you 0.75. 0.75 is my profit. Yes, profit percentage, as I already told you, whatever the percentage you need to calculate, that should be calculated upon the cost price. So profit percentage is nothing but that is equal to profit divided by cost price into 100. Here profit is 0.75 and my cost price is 25 rupees multiplied by 100 because we need to calculate the percentage. So it is nothing but 3% profit. So if I sold the book for 27.50 rupees, I have incurred 10% profit. But instead, if I sold the pen for 25.75 rupees, again I incur a profit in a transaction, but the profit percentage is just 3%. Clear? Okay. Yes, the next problem is the percentage profit earned by selling an article for rupees 1920 is equal to the percentage loss incurred by selling the same article for rupees 1280. At what price should the article be sold to make 25% profit? Okay. See what they have given in this problem. If they have not given the cost price. Okay, just try to understand that they have not given the cost price in this problem. So let me assume the cost price as X. But if I sold